They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Oh my God, guys. Y'all have taken this channel to a completely new level. I mean, thank you so much for all the support that y'all have left. I mean, the amount of people that we have subscribing every single day, the amount of likes y'all are dropping on the videos is absolutely ridiculous. And I will definitely tell y'all, if this channel continues to grow like this throughout 2021, next fantasy basketball season, I'll probably be making 2 to 3 videos a day, as well as live streaming every single night. So yeah, if you are wanting that, just make sure y'all continue to support the channel. Make sure you continue to go down there, leave comments, asking questions, leave comments telling me when you think I am wrong about something. Also dropping likes on the videos. I mean, just do exactly what y'all been doing. Y'all been absolutely killing it. And I would love for this channel to get bigger than our fantasy football channel, because honestly, I mean, I way prefer watching NBA games over NFL games with the pace of play, combined with the fact that you don't have to just sit there and watch commercials every 3 minutes. But yeah, I want to just thank everybody for the fantastic support that we've had here. And in this video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through and I'm going to be looking at about 5 or 6 players that have drastically outproduced their ADP so far, and talking about why they have outproduced their ADP and where they are being drafted this offseason, and if I think we should be selling high or if I think they are going to be continuing this type of production. And yeah, that's it. Leave your questions in the comments. Let's get into it. And our first player we are going to be talking about here is going to be Myles Turner. Okay, so with Myles Turner, I mean, he had an ADP of this offseason at 76, and right now in point leagues, Myles Turner is ranked as the 13th player in points per game, and we all know why he's doing this. I mean, we all know that this is coming from his blocks. Now, with Myles Turner, we all knew that he was going to be an above average defensive player for the Indiana Pacers, but you can never predict a player to be seeing 4 blocks a game. I mean, I have no idea how this is happening. I expected this number to come down by now, but 4 blocks a game, a steal and a half a game, and we know that also with Myles Turner, I mean, he's not killing you really at any other category if you're playing in those category leagues where he's giving you a 3.5, which is more than enough for the center position in a category league when that's not supposed to be a strength. He's giving you 75% from the free throw line, almost 50% from the field, 13 points a game at the same time. So with Myles Turner, I mean, this is going to be a very intriguing player on what we should be doing with him going forward, because obviously if you could sell him for anything close to a top 15 player in fantasy basketball, that's something we would love to do, but he does not carry the name value along with him, so you can get that type of value. And everybody knows that the blocks are going to regress. Everybody knows that he is not going to end the season averaging 4 blocks a game. So it's going to be hard to pull something by in a league mate. But if for whatever reason you are playing in a league where someone's not really paying attention, someone really does not know what they are doing, and you can just reach out to them going, hey, you know what? Look at how many points Myles Turner is scoring every single game. I'll trade you Myles Turner for this point guard just because I need some guard production and I have more than enough centers. If you can possibly sell it like that, I mean, that would be something I'm looking to do. But in the majority of cases, I think probably your league mates are going to be a little bit too smart for you to pull one over with a Myles Turner on. Now, our next player is going to be someone that, honestly, I am not looking to sell anytime soon. And this is Zach LaVine. Okay, so with Zach LaVine, by no means was he a late round draft pick or anything. I mean, his ADP was around pick 36, so he was going at the very end of round 3, the beginning of round 4 this offseason. But right now, he's a top 12 player in fantasy basketball leagues. I mean, he is ranked as the 11th guy in points per game in those points leagues. And he is doing this with almost every category. And this is why I think that with Zach LaVine, he's possibly a player that instead of trying to sell high on, maybe he's a player I just try to buy high. I go, you know what? I mean, Zach LaVine is a lot younger than most people think he is, just because he's seems like he's been around in the NBA forever now. But, I mean, he's giving us 27 points a game, 50% from the field, almost 3.5 3-point shots a game, almost 90% from the free throw line, 5 assists, 5.5 rebounds, and a steal a half. So, regardless on if you were playing in a point league or a category league. I mean, with a player like Zach LaVine, he is stuffing the stat sheet to a certain extent where it's not going to hurt you, regardless of the format that you're playing in. I mean, Zach LaVine is just killing it at the moment. And because I think most fantasy basketball players are not going to be giving him the credit that is due, I think Zach LaVine is possibly a guy that we go, you know what? I mean, he's been a major surprise. Generally, I don't like going out and buying those players that are severely outproducing where we evaluated them coming into the season, especially when we're so early on in the NBA season. But I think Zach LaVine makes sense to go out there and try to target. All right. So now our next player is going to be a very intriguing guy. I mean, Bradley Beal. Obviously, we have not gotten to see him play anytime late, but right now he's ranked as the 6th player in points per game. He had the ADP of 17, so he was a mid-second round selection this offseason, and he is doing this right now pretty much in every category, just like Zach LaVine. I mean, he is leading the NBA in points per game with 35 points. He has 2.5 threes a game. Honestly, I thought that we were having more three-point shots from Bradley Beal. I don't have him on a single fantasy basketball league, so I'll be completely honest. I thought that we had a little bit more three-point production than is actually there, but 2.5 is not going to kill you a game. 50% from the field, almost 90% from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. So another player that is literally not hurting you in any given category. But I'll say with Bradley Beal, I mean, why would he ever stay with the Washington Wizards? I know that the Wizards and Bradley Beal say they want to stay together for the rest of the season. I understand that. I know Beal wants to stay in Washington, but Beal also wants to win at the same time. And I'm going, you know what? He's a fantastic player, one of the best players in the NBA. But if he is traded away from Washington, I think his usage rate is most likely going to go down. And while we would expect his efficiency from the field, from three-point land, to go up because he is not going to be asked to do as much and he is going to see some softer looks by opposing rotations, I still think the usage rate would go down, the points per game would go down, the rebounds and assists would most likely go down. So with a possible trade upcoming, I think Bradley Beal is possibly a player that I would like to see what we could get by selling him high, even though that sounds crazy. All right. So now our next player, I don't want to spend too much time on him because pretty much every single podcast has talked about this team for the past 2 weeks. This is going to be Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, yes, he was a late round 1, early round 2 pick this offseason, but right now he is the 2nd overall player in our fantasy basketball leagues, and he is doing this with every category. Obviously, we know Kevin Durant's always going to have the efficiency. He's always going to have the three-point production, the efficiency from the line, and just the overall field goal percentage at the same time. But 31 points, almost 8 rebounds a game, and 6 assists. Ridiculous, especially if you look at the minutes per game Kevin Durant is receiving. I was not expecting this much usage off an Achilles injury. Now I'll say with Kevin Durant going forward, I mean, you already know my opinion. I think that he is currently most likely a top 3 player in the NBA, but that does not make him a top 3 player in fantasy basketball. I think James Harden coming in, Kyrie Irving coming back to this rotation is most likely going to take minutes away from Kevin Durant. We are going to see the ball in Kevin Durant's hands slightly less. So very similar to what I said with Bradley Beal. While this is most likely going to help KD's efficiency, while his percentages are going to go up because opposing rotations can't just key in on KD. They have to also pay attention to James Harden and Kyrie Irving. I think the overall usage should go down. So if you can get top 5 value for Kevin Durant, that's something I'm doing, no questions asked. All right, so now our next player is going to be someone that I honestly want to sell high on as well. And I know we are going to get a ton of hate for this, but we said it in our sell high video a couple days ago. Jaylen Brown. Okay, right now, Jaylen Brown is a top 20 player in fantasy basketball in points per game. He's ranked as the 19th guy. He had an ADP outside the top 4 rounds this offseason. He was going at pick 51. And right now, he looks like he is taking that next step. I mean, at such a young age, averaging 27 points a game, 53% from the field. Jaylen Brown looks fantastic. It looks like the Celtics have one of the best NBA players, one of the best NBA assets that you could have at this current moment. But Kemba Walker is coming back. So I'll say because Kemba Walker is coming back, because if you look at Jaylen Brown's mid-range efficiency, we're going to be expecting that to go down as well. I think Jaylen Brown's another player. Congrats everybody who drafted him in fantasy drafts this offseason. But I'll say, I think we are going to see him regress back slightly. And I always hate selling the players that are extremely young because we know they're going to be playing more games. And on top of that, generally they can see more minutes. I think in the case of Jaylen Brown, if we can get him a top 20 value in return, that's something I'd be looking to do. Okay, so now our next major surprise is going to be a player that I'm looking to buy high on, very similar to Zach LaVine. It's going to be Malcolm Brogdon. Okay, so Malcolm Brogdon currently is ranked as the 21st player in points per game in fantasy basketball. He also had an ADP outside the top 4 rounds this offseason, going around pick 55. But right now, he's killing it. I mean, we know that he is elite from the free throw line. He's giving you 3 3-point shots a game, 22 points a game, and 7 assists as well. And without any recent news on Karis LeVert, I think what we are going to be looking to do is we are going to be looking to buy Malcolm Brogdon high, because what other option do the Pacers have? I mean, they traded away Oladipo. Karis LeVert, we have no idea when he's coming back. So Brogdon is going to continue to see a ridiculous amount of usage in this rotation. He's going to have the ball in his hands very, very often. And he's not killing you in really any category. So a player, that is the definition of a buy high, in my opinion. I think this is a guy that you could possibly take Jaylen Brown and move him for Brogdon plus another piece. And that's something I think would make a ton of sense. All right, so now our last player is going to be someone that I have found myself crushing on very hard as of late. And this is Christian Wood. Okay, Christian Wood, I'm going to be honest, I had no idea how James Harden leaving Houston was going to affect him. I know a lot of people said right away that it was going to help Christian Wood, but I was just thinking, I was like, you know what? I mean, James Harden draws so much attention away, then maybe we see the efficiency dip down so much for Christian Wood, it outweighs his increase in usage. And I think we are just completely wrong. I mean, because right now, Christian Wood averaging 24 points a game, 53% from the field, 11 rebounds a game at the same time. I mean, he was being drafted at pick 52 this offseason. Now he's ranked in the top 25 of fantasy basketball leagues in points per game. A guy that I am so surprised on. I don't have him in a single league either, but if I could be buying him, I would. Okay, so now our last player that we are going to be talking about is going to be the bad Nikola, the Nikola down in Florida, in Orlando. And I know he was a very high draft pick this past offseason. I mean, he was going in the top 30. I mean, he was going around pick 28. But right now, he is a top 15 player in points per game in point leagues. And he is doing this with pretty much every category. I mean, we know from the big man position, you are really looking for the guys that can provide you some assists. And he is doing that, averaging 3.5 a game. He's giving you over 20 points a game. He's giving you 3 3-pointers a game at the same time. 11 rebounds. So a player that really does not have a fault. I mean, a player that is coming through for you. And I'm going to say, just because we really don't expect this team to be going anywhere else anytime soon, that he's a guy that we just want to hold for the time being. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, go down there, drop that like, leave that comment, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. And yeah, that's it. I will see y'all with the video tomorrow.